welcome everybody to Locked On Lads TV. I am Peter Wilkinson. We're here for round 4 of ANZCAR Thunder, live from Nashville Super Speedway, and I'm joined tonight by a very first-time commentator, Buzzer. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, Wilco. Good to be here. Should be a good race here, and looking forward to seeing how the new start procedure goes.
Oh, it's going to be very much exciting stuff. We're going to see lots of stuff about starts procedures tonight, except for no one's going to have a caution, and we won't even get to test it. But that is right, and not ANZCAR. ANZCAR has decided to use the new iRacing starting zones, so I can't wait to see that. We do have the only Carl Wilkinson with you in the background, just lurking around. He may jump in and say something. Do you want to say hello to the audience and Carl, that's missed you so much?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Thunder series here on Locked On Lads TV. It's good to be back. I'm just here in the background, just lurking around to help out a bit tonight. Not sure how long I'll be keeping around, but nice to be back, and very much missing talking to everybody and missing chatting away.
Yeah, we do miss you too. I hope you're going to get well at some stage, mate, because we do desperately need you back. So quickly tonight, I just want to shout out to this beautiful man that's on screen as well, Mr. Michael Skurlock. It is his 300th, official 300th race for ANZCAR. So congratulations, Mr. 305, doing it for the 300th time. Hopefully he has a really good night tonight. I'm sure he will. He usually does. It's a 30-second lap. The boy is qualifying right now. So let's turn my phone onto mute and let's see what's happening out there as he flies around for a second lap. Look, we've got a new start procedure tonight. There is a little bit we're going to have to get used to it. I've been given information that after a caution, basically there is a zone just before the start-finish line. And once the cars are in that, the green flag will raise at some point, and that means everyone gets a jump. The rules do say something about the leader does get to start in that period. If he doesn't start by the end of the period, the green flag goes. So we're going to wait and see what happens tonight. So going to be some really good fun. A little bit something that I know Ryan Jones has been in the Discord banging on about for weeks now, trying to get a starting zone. But we just finished Skurlock finishing his lap. Let's go to someone else who might be on a fly here. And let's bring up the timing tower, which will show you Ruben Phelps is at the top of the table so far. But Dyson has just gone straight to the top there. Last week's round winner, Andrew Dyson, showing people he's got some pace on the super speedway. Big shout out to Mark Johansson, Tim Harris, and Abigail Foster in chat on the different ones. And the man, the myth, the legend, Russimus Prime. Old Russell Clark there on Twitch. Thank you, everyone who is dropping by tonight to say hello as Edward Foster finishes his set of laps as we go to Brad Fenley, who had a really good race on Sunday night in the Australasian Supercar E-Series, who is the major sponsor for tonight. Round 4 brought to you by the Australasian Supercar E-Series, another series that we proudly broadcast on a Sunday night. They are the week off next week, but if you are interested, that field picks up and fills up very quickly on a Sunday night. V8s on ovals, really, really good fun. As Brad finishes with a 31.3, which sees him a little bit down the order in 20th. Now, Buzzer, what do you expect from tonight? Lots of speed, lots of chaos. What do we expect?
Well, I am expecting a little bit of chaos. I did for the first time have a look around this track earlier tonight, and it seems a couple of the corners are going to be bit tight heading into a few of those, but it'll be interesting to see some strategy. Our inside information we had given to us was that about 60 to 62 laps on fuel for tonight's race. So looking at probably a just over maybe a one stop and a little bit, and also some tyres. The right side tyres on this concrete are probably going to be the ones that go away pretty quickly.
Yes, I'll be very interested to see how the strategy plays out with the fuel and the tyres. I assume the fuel will be the interesting thing, especially if there is not so many cautions tonight as who we got there. Wesley gets the sideways action on the Xfinity car as he comes around the corner on the Mustang. So that's probably the end of his run with 1 second to go, and we are going to see Andrew Dyson lead this field out. The field of only 26 tonight, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's okay. It's patch night. Some people might have hopped on and saw a 14.7 gig patch and thought, no, I'm not racing tonight, but we will see. Let's head into the gridding up process and have a look. Once someone can get on pit lane, Billy Hickey's on pit lane. Let's take us down there as we see the cars come into the grid and get ready to go. I'll quickly run through this grid as it stands right now. Unfortunately, my display isn't working for the grid. Apologies. Andrew Dyson will line up next to Ruben Phelps. Edward Foster, the man who fought off Andrew for all but one lap last week, will go up next to Hamish Gallagher, the man trying to reclaim his championship or defend his championship from last season. Josh Mickelmore, who's in a purple patch of form at the moment, alongside Matty Hunter. Matty Hunter, what a great job from you, mate. Very good work ahead of number 300 himself, or the 300 race man, Michael Skurlock in 7th, who's next to Ryan Jones. Nothing could happen there on that restart. Justin Witcher, who's been racing really well in leading the Australasian Supercar E-Series on a Sunday night, who is sponsoring tonight's series. He's in 9th next to Luke Georgensen, who's always having a good race these days, always around the mid-pack, always looking good. In 10th, Raymond Yeager, the man who is behind the Australasian Supercar E-Series, is next to Stevie Dubb, then Greg Spencer and Kobe Jordan in 13 and 14. Norman Clark, 15th next to Tom Pritchard, 16th. Nigel Patton, 17th next to Billy Hickey, 18th. Christian Koch next to Brad Fenley in 19th and 20th. Wesley Closey is his 21st. Matthew Raymond, as always, down the back at 22nd. Adam Malone next to Aiden Schultz if they hop into the server, 23 and 24, and Tex Linda, who we're going to keep an eye on tonight if he jumps into the race as well, and Noddy Tompkins to round out the 26th position at Nashville tonight. So strong field as they start to move on the grid as we go to TV1, and it's not showing me. Oh, here we go. Finally, things are moving. So
underway. I just want to quickly jump on and call out the championship at the moment because
that'd be great.
Man down in qualified down in 8th, Mr. Ryan Jones is leading that championship at the moment, just ahead of Josh Mickelmore. Hamish Gallagher down in 3rd. Odd to see him so far down. Justin Witcher in 4th. 5th is Fenley. A really good season for Brad Fenley and Matt Hunter, who's in 6th, with Adam Malone, Tom Neal, and Luke Trahere all in joint 6th position, and then Ruben Phelps sort of in the 10th position. So that's the top 10 in the championship at the moment. But just outside it is Noddy Tompkins, having a fantastic run ahead of his teammate Maddie Ray at the moment in the championship. So in P11, Noddy Tompkins.
Well done to Ryan Jones. He has had a pretty good season so far. We always see him up there and thereabouts. His tyre wear's been a lot better, or good, I must say, as we get ready to go. Andrew Dyson will lead them away with this restart zone happening. We don't know what's going to happen, but there it is. It's green, and Andrew does get the jump still. And that's Edward Foster getting behind him to push him along, and Dyson immediately goes up to the high line and then gets himself going the most optimal line he can, cutting across in front of Edward again to go back to the low line. Ruben Phelps looking to get in front of Ed, and Hamish really wanting to push up, but Josh Mickelmore is holding that ground. But Dyson is out to a nice solid start, getting that momentum around coming out of the first lap. He will lead them around still, but Ruben Phelps has got in front of Edward Foster here. He can drop down to the bottom line if he wants, and we see that Skurlock in the background taking the super low line across the bottom of the track there as he tries to get around Josh, but he just ends up back behind Josh Mickelmore as Matty Hunter has slotted
here.
Yeah, Matty Hunter's slotted back in. He was on his lonesome up top there. Ooh, it's getting pretty close at the Matty Hunter's and Hamish Gallagher just trying. Yep, they're in position. They're fine. Too wide still with Matty Hunter. No, it's Skurlock and Jones, as those two were side by side at the start. Buzzer, it's all fairly calm.
Team so far at the minute, isn't it?
We don't mind that. We don't mind that as Raymond Yeager does pull up alongside Stevie Dub here to try and get down the inside, and he does. But Hamish Gallagher has finally made the move on Edward Foster stick. So Ruben Phelps has opened that up. It's interesting seeing Ed fall back so quickly in the field from where he was at the start. So just going around about 4/10 a second slower than the guys around him. So he is dropping back in the pack there. But Ruben Phelps is now working his hardest to get back up to the back of Andrew Dyson there. But Matty Hunter, what a great job from him sitting there in sixth, just ahead of championship leader Ryan Jones. So Buzzer, what's your experience with NASCAR with driving left?
Driving left, I've had no experience with driving left, but I did do a couple of laps before tonight, and let's just say for these blokes to do this for 112 laps, I commend them.
Definitely can. As we go back to the back of the field there, Noddy Tompkins, as we talk about, and Norman Clark's headed back 8 spots in the field, which is interesting there. I don't know what's happened there, but let's have a look on board and see, or not on board, but have a look. There's no damage there.
Up to the front, Wilco. We've got Hamish Gallagher making a move for second place.
Second place as he dives down the inside there of Ruben Phelps. It's interesting. Hamish is now up there. This is where we expect to see him. He's worked his way through the field. Josh Mickelmore just sitting back there, holding his spot. But will Ruben now push back? Can't hear Buzzer. That is a problem. Let me get that fixed. Apologies for the audio issues. So it was something I had to test. Can we test Buzzer again?
I am here, Wilco.
Okay, I've got you. You're almost there. So that's about perfect just there. Sorry about that. So while we watch here, Hamish Gallagher's now back on the back of Dyson here. So we're 7 laps into the race. The gap is under 0.2 of a second as Josh Mickelmore pushes down the inside of Edward Foster now. Carl, I do want to just quickly bring you in. Just quickly, is this normal that you see for Edward to drop back so quickly at the start of the race?
I think he's expecting to be expecting a relatively clean race. I think he's trying to preserve the tyres a little bit. The lines he's taking at the moment, he's just not pushing the car quite as much. He's not taking such a tight line. He's not battling as much as some of the others, not putting too much heat through the tyres. So I get the feeling that he might just be sitting there and waiting for something, waiting for nothing to happen, I should say, as Gallagher makes a pass for the lead on Dyson now. They are really trying to push forwards up at the front, but I just get the feeling he's easing off a little bit and he's going to come back in a little bit later in the race. You can see Dyson's dropping back quickly now. He had that initial launch, but he might have taken a little bit out of the tyres. Of course, racing on concrete, it is different to asphalt. The tyres behave a little bit differently and it can really can catch you out sometimes.
Excellent. That's just helped me out of, while you were talking in the background, I got all the audio sorted out, I think. But while that was happening too, yes, as you said, Hamish Gallagher's got to the lead. Dyson is falling off quickly, but Ryan Jones has made the move on Edward Foster as both Matty Hunter and Michael Skurlock are sitting back there looking for a way to get past Edward Foster as well. Matty Hunter getting very close up towards the wall there, but doesn't seem to have hit it. But they're too wide again up front as these guys come around. Just quickly, they're 10 seconds back to Norman Clark. So already put a third of the track on Norman Clark. They are starting to spread out. Not an issue at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go along. Michael Skurlock and Matthew Hunter have now got down the inside of Edward Foster as he continues his push backwards with Justin Witcher now. Oh no, Matty Hunter hasn't quite got it done, but he will probably get it done in the next lap or two. But quickly, let's go back, just introducing Buzzer as a whole. Buzzer is Locked On Racing's V8 specialist from the start. He's probably not the fastest V8 driver we've got now, but he was the original the original V8 driver that we had in the team. So he's definitely got some experience with iRacing. He's definitely been around Locked On Racing for a while now, and glad to have him alongside. While we're so short-staffed at the moment, good to get some more people out there into your ears and hopefully getting a bit more experience, so I don't have to do so much work all the time while Carl's out of action. but hopefully Carl gets better soon. As we see here, Skurlock's on the back of Dyson, so Jones has already got past Dyson as well. Mr. 300 Skurlock himself is trying his hardest. I wonder if he's going to be able to get a run here, but behind him, Edward Foster is in this
Ruben
nice little...
Phelps having a look up the inside to take the lead.
That is a great call. Look at that. He's just stepped aside, Hamish, and he doesn't want any part of that. If Ruben wants the lead, I think he's going to happy to give it to him as... right back there, that is Dyson pushing back and got past Ryan Jones now as well. Lots of things happening here. Like there's a lot of back and forth here between this front pack, more than I thought there would be at this stage of the race. Quickly go back in the field here. Billy Hickey up 5 spots.
He's
at the
moved
moment.
up a bit, hasn't he? That's a good start from Billy Hickey there.
Billy Hickey started 18th. He's up to 13th. That's a great run as he tries to look at Kobe Jordan and see if he can jump on the back of him and get a run through. You can see how spread out these cars are, looking really good. We'll go to the blimp static. You can see them all going around. There's not much of a... it's all single file and they're not as spread out as they could be, which is good to see. The other one is there's not many other positions changed. It's really Ed's dropped down 5 spots at the moment. The second best commentator, I can't even remember what he called himself, but second best vocals. Abigail, what did he say? It's not like Ed to let himself slip far back in spite of any strategy. Something doesn't look right. That's what I agree. I don't think Ed would be happy sitting there in 8th right now. He was in the comms, he'd be giving it to himself. I can tell you right now. Hamish Gallagher sitting there. You see Micklemore just trying to hold off Dyson, I think, there. Dyson's all over the back of him as Skurlock and Witcher, Foster and Hunter are still wanting to go too wide everywhere we go. But this is going to get very interesting very quickly. Especially in this mid-pack, or what is the mid-pack? We're not used to... There's only 23 cars in the race. There was 3 of them that didn't even start. This is very odd for a Thunder series. Any thought that this could be a week 13 issue, Carl?
Yeah, I think...
Oh, just tagged the wall there, did Ruben Phelps, just slightly there.
That's interesting. I missed that one. Apologies, everyone.
Yeah, just on the exit of turn 4, he's just run out wide. And one of the things that we haven't mentioned is actually the temperature tonight as well. Well, the temperature of the track today as well. Track temps are way up there. It's 38 degrees. It's just dropped actually to 37, but it was about 38 degrees at the start. So tire temperature is going to climb as well if you start getting a bit slippery. So if you start sliding a little bit on the exit, which is very easy to do in these early stages, then your tires will heat up quite quickly and you'll fall back, and it'll take a good 3 or 4 laps just to get back into a position where they're in the right operating temperature. So that could be interesting. I do think it's a week 13 thing. I think that patch has thrown a lot of people off. I think people were expecting tonight's race to be cancelled, possibly because there is also maintenance as well. But luckily everything is running as normal.
I did forget the other thing I was going to mention tonight, so thank you, Abigail. The second choice voice is Edward Foster's tag. I keep on forgetting about, sitting in 7th at the moment. It's State of Origin night as well for all you rugby league fans out there, so some people would be getting intoxicated tonight and watching football, unfortunately, as well. That does not help the situation. And yes, we do need to finish this thing by 10 o'clock because there is maintenance, as we see Kobe Jordan just trying to get that position back that Luke just took off him there. And Billy Hickey trying to keep that run going. He's going to try and sneak through with him as well. So if Kobe can get that position, although Billy might be going up there to help Luke fight back, but no, he's just getting that run on. See if he can get that momentum up, and he'll get past Luke there as well, I think, to increase...
Looks like Hamish Gallagher up the front to take the lead again, with Ryan Jones coming in the 3rd.
That's a great run from Ryan Jones. He's also up 5 spots at the moment as Hamish... Ruben does slot back in line and get back behind Hamish to let Hamish take the lead. Josh Micklemore looking solid as always. These top 6, very familiar names. Top 7, very familiar names. This is what we were talking about last week, even with the the road track, we always seem to see these same names up the front. But yeah, they're all just playing it out. We're 22 laps into 112. We know you can possibly get one stop in from looking at the numbers. I reckon it is only a one stop race. I don't think it's a question mark actually. I think it's plenty of time. So that 50 to 62 lap mark is probably the window. So if this stays as calm as it is right now, people will start looking in the next 30 laps.
Ryan Jones looking up the inside to try and nab second place here.
Let's run a board with Ryan. Let's have a look at what you see from the Skittles car as it runs alongside Ruben Phelps here, trying to get this position as he drops down nice and low. And we'll go to the right rear suspension. If I can find... Oh, I can't find it.
Oh, very sideways there was Ryan Phelps there.
Ruben Phelps, yes.
Ruben Phelps there, yes, on the exit there.
Wonder if his rear tyre has gone and it's just got, not gone, but it's slightly drifting off. And as Carl was mentioning, with the heat of the track, it's just becoming very slippery as Ryan Jones makes his way back up to the front of the pack where we know he likes to race. The gap between first and last, very interestingly enough, is less than 10 seconds now. So the guys...
What would we normally see on a track like this, Wilco and Carl? Would we normally see a 10-second to the end of the field? But with a bigger field, it would be a bit longer, wouldn't it?
Normally by this stage it would be a bit wider, but one thing I want to point out is Norman Clark. He's actually starting to charge through the field. His times are a good couple of tenths faster than even the leaders. He's just held it off, just sat at the back, just kept the tyres in a relatively good shape, and now he's coming back on the attack. And I wonder if we're going to see... there's another car in that paint job up towards the front of the field. His teammate, Mr. Foster, who also was kind of just not pushing too hard in the early stages. I wonder if we're starting to see go time for these guys now. There are a few cars starting to make moves, moving up the field. That sort of just didn't push too hard in the early stages, but now they're coming alive. And you can see there's some gaps starting to appear as well. Back from Stevie Dubb to Bill Hickey, there's a fairly big gap between those two cars. And this is where you're going to start getting the guys that have pushed too hard too soon appearing, and this is where you can really start to take advantage of them. So I get the feeling this is where we're going to see those guys that have kept their tyres alive starting to make their runs.
Yeah.
Would you question the big leaps from Jones and also Bill Hickey with their pushes early? Do you reckon their tyres might sort of wane off shortly, or do you reckon they sort of timed their runs a bit, timed them quite well?
I think they're kind of sitting a little bit in the pack a bit, so they're sort of able to take advantage of it a little bit. But you can see Bill Hickey is sort of in the lead of a pack of cars now, and he's really struggling to keep pace. He's struggling to catch up to Stevie Dubb, and he's got Greg Spence, Kobe Jordan, and Nigel Patton, I think, all over the back of him. So I think Hickey's tyres are starting to just get to that cliff, and he's starting to struggle a little bit now. The car's not looking as... if you watch the cars as it going through the corner, it's a little bit nervous now. And I feel like he's just starting to feel the effect of that early push. I think Ryan Jones didn't push quite as hard. He sort of went through a little bit sort of quieter through the field. But he might start getting into trouble in around about 10 to 15 laps. That's when his tyres might start hurting a little bit more.
But hopefully the cars around him are hurting even more than that as well. As we see a little bit of movement with this pack here, which is the Billy Hickey we're just following, as Nigel Patton tries to make a move there as well. Greg Spencer's got past him. It is interesting. It's now out to 12 seconds back to Noddy Tompkins, but the main point I was picking was Norman Clark at probably about 15 laps ago was 10 seconds off the lead. So for a good 10-15 laps of the race, the field was pretty much sitting similar pace all the way through the field, which is interesting to see. But yeah, it is Norman Clark was about 2 seconds off the pack. And as you said, he's now not only got back onto the pack, but he's a good 4 seconds ahead of Noddy Tompkins, who's currently sitting in that last position. We've got the top 8 are spread out by 1.8 seconds at the moment. Then there's this little pack that we're watching now, which is a 1.3 second gap to that lead pack. Then there is, it's Matty Hunter and Stevie Dub that are in their pack on their own. That's 1.5 seconds back, and then it's 1.5 seconds back to the pack we were just watching of 4. And then another almost 2 seconds back to this backpack who's had a spin. We've got a caution here. We just got it. Number 15 and 23 have come together. Let's go back on the instant replay and try and find out what happened there.
It looks like Tom Pritchard and Raymond Yeager.
So we're
caught
on
up
board
here.
above Tom Pritchard here. And let's have a look here. He's on the concrete. He's getting up high. He's hit the wall. He's come down straight into Raymond Yeager. Raymond Yeager pretty much had nothing to do there. But it's only those...
Unlucky to be caught up in that.
Yeah, let's go on board with the number 23 there, the gyro. Just go back a little bit here. Just have a look at it at full pace. He's got no sight of this if you have a look at this at full pace. So as you can see, he's going past. He did a little bit of wheel work there to keep himself straight. And yeah, just out of nowhere, Richard comes down, unfortunately, leaves him on the dirt. We have the caution. We will have cars coming in. This is not ideal for pit strategy. So it'd be interesting to see what people do as we see Hamish. The whole field coming in, obviously, to splash up on fuel. We will look at pit stop lengths, if I can get that going, and just see who's been saving fuel for that period of time, and who takes tyres will be the other thing, because we have seen the drop off of tyres so far. There's a definite speed advantage to having fresh rubber on. Skirley deciding to be not quite at 180 degrees to the wall there, but he's doing a good job. As we see lots of cars going up here on Jacks.
Taking
and Ryan Jones beats out the pack.
So everybody getting 4 sets of tyres in that stop by the looks of things. Jones maybe just taking a splash less fuel than some of the other drivers. He was stationary for a
0.5 of a second.
Yeah, just a little bit less. Usually fuel-wise, I think they're not going to be making it to the... Well,
not at this stage. There's 62 laps, 65 laps max. You're looking at 100. They're still 12 laps short. So we need to see a caution in the next probably 15 to 20 laps, and then people will start to think about getting to the end. But tyres will be an issue if they try and go that long on a stint, I think. So we'll see. But I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, everyone's between that 14 to... that's what I've done. Wrong one. So let's go that one. So as you see there, 14 to 15 seconds is the whole field there. Ryan Jones and Justin Witcher could have just been saving just a touch of fuel, or as you said, actually Norman Clark as well. 13.9 seconds on the box is a great effort from him, and gets him up another couple of positions, up to 16th in that pit stop as well. So it will be interesting to see whether that comes back to get them, if it was something that they were doing where they've put a little bit less fuel in, or they just saved more while they're going around. We talked about Norman being way off the pack at one stage there, and we talked about Ryan, who was just sort of going with the flow and letting people go backwards around him. So maybe he was just saving just that little bit of fuel. It all helps, doesn't it, Buzzer? Even in a V8, little bit of fuel.
A little bit of fuel helps, and it'll just a little bit each lap, and when we get to those pit stops, the more you can save, and the shorter pit stop we get as we head into our restart here, then towards the end of the race we'll see exactly how much it really impacts, I reckon.
And here we go. So they're in the restart zone, and Ryan Jones jumps, and we are green. And Dyson's going to take advantage of this, and he's going to get down the inside of Hamish Gallagher, which is going to relegate him back down. Micklemore is hung out from Ruben Phelps, and Edward Foster's going to start to try and come back through the field here after his little bit of a low start. But very good start from Ryan Jones, and now he just really wants to look after those tyres for as long as he can. Doesn't want to work too hard for this, as Ruben Phelps, talking about working hard, Ruben Phelps and Josh Micklemore really want to get that 4th and 5th position sorted out quick smart. With Edward Foster's coming into the action. Josh Micklemore's actually got it, got 4th position, but it's now Ruben and Edward that are fighting over it, and that's Stevie Dub in the background. No? Yes, it is, but that's Matty Hunter doing a great job. Man, who we don't talk about enough. In the top 10 at the moment, doing a solid effort, keeping back Justin Witcher, as you can see there on his outside, who is a very accomplished driver on his own, keeping him out of action, and Stevie Dub sitting behind, just waiting for something to happen between these two. And the man we keep on talking about, keep on going back to, Billy Hickey, sitting there with a great start. He's up to 11th, just knocking on the door of the top 10 currently. As we go back to the front, and Ryan Jones and Hamish Gallagher nose to tail, looking like they're ready to have a fight. These two love each other, so they wouldn't do anything like that. We see Tay inspired livery coming down the inside of Ryan Jones to see if he can get a little bit of a run on him, but he just can't quite get it. But Ryan's car looks back on the rest of the field.
Big moment for Hickey. Sorry, just to cut in there. Big moment for Hickey going through turn number 2. He just caught the apron a little bit. He's running a really low line at the moment, and that caused the back end to step out on him in the SRM machine, the mobile brake mechanical sponsored car, of course, and sponsored by the Maid of Auckland as well. Thanks for the free drinks, Maddie Ray. Yeah, it was a big moment for him. He managed to save it, but he lost a little bit of time there.
Yeah, you can see, I'm looking at the times now, Billy Hickey, 31.6 was his last lap. Everyone else is pretty much doing 31.2s and 31.3s. So 0.3 to 0.4 of a second. We talk about on a Sunday night. 2 or 3 tenths is a mile on a track like this. Can really hurt you, but he seems to have got it back okay. And obviously the other thing is, if you got a little bit of sideways action, it will hurt those tyres for a little bit, and he needs to be a little bit careful, as these cars are just nose to tail the whole way around. Let's have a look from... on the wrong side of the track.
And
the
of
eggs.
course,
Yep.
I'm sure you're familiar with this one, Buzzer, but, cautions breeding cautions, and, on restarts, things like that. The cars, obviously, colder tyres, they're full of fuel again, and you just got to get back in the pace of things. It can be really tricky sometimes just to get everything switched on again when you're driving one of these things.
Yeah, it also acts as a bit of a restart as well, in a mindset as well, I think. It'd just be like, yep, fresh tyres, we're back to full fuel, and we'll just reset. If, like, Ed Foster, who had a slow start, might be thinking, right, this is my time to switch back on and try and get back up to the front as well. So as long as it is hard to sort of quickly get back into the swing of things with the new tyres and full fuel, but it can also act as a bit of a mindset change as well, I think.
The other thing as well, of course, once you get those pit stops, is you can kind of see how much degradation you got on your tyres as well.
Yeah, it's a key part, that stop, so you can know how hard you went, so you can adjust. And it's something that we talked to Ryan Jones about, I think it was last week, where he, or maybe even Ed Foster, but pretty much for all of them actually, because that
Hamish Gallagher coming up the inside of Ryan Jones here up the front.
Yeah, there was a no stop last week, so everyone was sort of guessing at tyre wear, and so that extra stop, knowing how much they've saved and how much they can burn this next stint, is also vital as well. But yes, Hamish Gallagher has made it happen, and he's got past Ryan Jones, and I don't think Ryan Jones is never happy with getting overtaken, but at the moment of this part of the race, I don't think you would be too concerned about that. It's a chance for him to sit back and save a bit of fuel, jump him in the pit stop next time anyway. And look after those tyres a little bit. He's got a championship to think about now, as do both of these two at the front, realistically.
if Ryan did take a little bit less fuel as well, that means he can just sit in the draft of Gallagher, and that will just offset that little bit of a disadvantage that he had. So, obviously stopping again. So, taking a little bit less fuel, not a bad idea. You might as well just go as soon as the tyres are slapped on effectively. There's no point in getting that extra fuel because it's really not going to save you much unless there's a late caution.
Yeah, that's it. We are getting very close to that point of the race. Now, you're a newbie to oval racing, Buzzer, but having a look at this race so far, we've had one caution, one person got up into the wall when the tyres got fairly low. Would you be considering at this stage of the race green stopping to get the tyres and the fuel done and come back, or would you be staying out there, hopefully hoping for a caution at some stage?
Well, you'd sort of just be playing it by ear at this stage, I would think. If you're definitely in the lead pack, you'd want to see what everyone else would be doing. But I reckon if you try and we're at full tank, so we're going to run as long as we can, and then if everyone and just do what the leaders do, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't think there's any advantage, Carl, at this stage to trying to get the final stop out of the way and getting it back, because I assume what do we see? 42 seconds on a stop, which is more than a lap. You will go a lap down if you green stop at the moment.
That's it. And there's not enough tyre wear really in 14 laps to make the big advantage. One battle that might be worth having a bit of a check out that's quite furious at the moment is down with Tristan Koch, Luke Georgeson, Greg Spencer, Noddy Tompkins and Wesley Closely. These drivers are absolutely going for it. They are really pushing hard, and you just get the feeling they are absolutely going tooth and nail at the moment. They're not worrying about any strategy here, not saving anything. They're just going full throttle. So good little battle going on down the back of the field. There's good battles going on throughout, but yeah, it might be for an early stop, considering it on about lap 70. If you're coming around about lap 70, you might be able to get an advantage. And of course, when you're on fresh tyres, you will have that little bit of a speed advantage. But we've not seen a huge drop off in time either. So it's not like you get a 3 or 4 second advantage on the tyres when you're running, when they're running. So it's a bit of a gamble, but it might pay off. It might be worth a try. You might see some of the mid-pack try it. If it goes green, it could pay off very well for them if everybody stays out for a late stop.
Yeah, that is it. So I'm just quickly looking at... We're on 16 laps since everyone stopped last. Basically, everyone's about 0.3 to 0.4 seconds a lap slower right now than what their fastest lap of the race is. So gives you an idea of the drop-off. It's not huge. 16 laps is sort of that halfway. No, it's not even that. It's a third of the way. No, it's even just smaller than that. It's a quarter of the tank. So,
You can't get much closer than that between Georgeson and Closey. That was very much a. I was expecting to see a yellow flag appear there. Just very close driving, absolutely millimetre perfect by those two drivers. Great job from both of them. Georgeson's been struggling a little bit. I think he's got a little bit of heat in his rears. His back end is really stepping out on him at the moment. So he's struggling a little bit with that car. But he's able to get some speed in it. But you can see losing the speed off the corner, Closey's just able to close the gap, excuse the pun. And Georgeson absolutely defending, just really brutal defence there, just going down to stop Closey from having a chance. But he's just not getting the run off the corners because he's just got too much heat in those tyres.
Good pickup from Abigail in chat. Edwards got past both Ruben Phelps and and Andrew Dyson here. He's actually right up the back of Josh Mickelmore. So while we were playing a little bit of fun at the back, you can see that gap there has really jumped out between, that's the wrong one, that one, between Ruben Phelps and Andrew Dyson. So I don't know whether that's tyres, that's something's happened and stopped them up, held them up. But Ed has got past and he's making good work of it. He's right up on the back of Josh Mickelmore, who's going to push past Ryan Jones here. We can see Ryan Jones, for whatever reason, is just starting to lose a little bit of pace that he had before. as Josh works pretty hard to get around the inside of him. Ed will be ready to do the same thing in a couple laps time, but now Ed has pace and he's doing a great job. But
And look at Micklemore as well.
yeah, so just quickly, like those two, Micklemore's 31.6s, Edwards are 31.7, Dyson and Phelps are 31.8. So you can see 1/10 a lap difference, but you can see how much of a difference it's making on the track right now. Chucko, that's only 10 laps, and all of a sudden you're a full second out, which these guys just about are now. So it's about half a second. Well, actually, Ruben Phelps to Edward Foster is nearly a second, and Andrew Dyson to Phelps is nearly a second as well. So Michael Skurlock might be, and Matty Hunter might be eyeing off an extra position here if it keeps on going that way as Dyson moves back. We have got Raymond Yeager has decided to call it quits for the night too, as we go to this battle pack at the back here, which is just crazy. We just need to watch a little bit of this. I'll get someone to keep an eye on the front while I watch 2 wide by 2 wide, and then Greg Spencer just looking at from behind going, what the hell do I do here? But Raymond Yeager, unfortunately, 8 laps to go, did call it quits after that incident with Tom Pritchard that brought out the caution. There's some interesting lines right here, right now. There's potentially 3 or 4 different lines going into corner. They're not 3 to 4 wide, but they're attacking the corner at 3 to 4 different directions. This is where you can trip over each other, especially with these tyres now being 23 laps old, and one little mistake could possibly cause a problem. But they just go back into line nicely. As I talk about it, someone's listening to the broadcast while they're racing. They shouldn't be doing that. People, don't do that.
Buzzer, I was just about to ask, obviously racing on tracks and in V8s, of course, you're used to some side-by-side action, but it's not usually lap after lap for, a constant of, 20-odd laps. It must be, it's a very different style of racing in that respect. And obviously it's tiring when you've got somebody next to you because you're constantly having to just keep an eye on them as well as keep an eye on your own race.
Yeah, with these guys, we're talking millimeters on some of these turns here, whether it be the wall or each other, and the concentration as Edward Foster trying to look up the inside of Ryan Jones here. The concentration these guys to do for 112 laps here tonight, being side by side like they are, it's impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's a very, very different. As there's contact with Billy Hickey, he just gets caught in the back, and it is going to be a caution.
Yep, there it is. This is the point where people can get home. Just quickly, let's go back. Abigail was just saying the Clark Closesley pack is looking very scary. Didn't come out of that pack, unfortunately, this little incident, but the pack in front. Let's go to the chopper. You can see there the number 90 is Nigel Patton getting very much on him and just loses it.
Yeah, it just gets into the back of Hickey, unfortunately.
You can just see that
just...
the bump draft just did not work, did it?
No, and it's just because there's a little bit of braking that's involved in that corner as well. So it's just Hickey's just got off the accelerator a little bit early. Patton's got into the back of him. He's tried maybe a bump and run, and it's just failed. If you're unfamiliar with the term bump and run, you just give the car a little bit of a nudge to try and offset them and hope that they don't crash into the wall like that. It's not the nicest of things to do, and it will get you will often get you some payback later in the race or later in the year. But that one really did not pay off. A big shame for Hickey because he was having a really good run there in the SRM machine, of course, newest signing for the team. But he can possibly bounce back from that because we're under caution. Damage is not going to be too much of a problem here, so he'll still be on the lead lap. But this means that everybody can come in for their stop.
Yeah, it's a very interesting crash. Like, he could have been a lot worse, that incident. He didn't bounce. He stayed up high. He controlled it really well. As we can see, most people are getting tyres here. As Hamish lights it up out of the pit box, which costs himself some time. it's very interesting little way to do it. There's definitely and can't be good for the tyres, but he's got it out in front. Hamish leads Josh Mickelmore and Ryan Jones. Edward Foster holds his position down where he was. Andrew Dyson, Ruben Phelps, to Michael Skurlock, Justin Witcher, Matty Hunter, and Nigel Patton. Um, Interestingly enough, once again, the Norman Clark playing the strategy. I reckon he's done left side only, or right side. He's done right side only tyres.
Yes, he has.
9.1 seconds. His pit box, where everyone else is 14.4 to 14.5. You know, Ruben Phelps has gone a little bit lower. That's just fuel, or his pit crew got a really good jump. Andrew Dyson, same 14.3. Michael Skurlock, 14.3. But they had a lot of time to make up on the crew that was ahead of him, so really wasn't helpful for him. But Norman
A big
Clark,
mover as well has been Matthew Raymond from
He's always a big
22nd up to
mover.
13th. So
he's
He's Mr. Sheen himself.
He is notorious for, I'm not going to qualify. I'm just going to work my way through the field. And here we go. So that is it. Everyone can get home from here. There's fuel's not a problem. Norman Clark's the one to watch, though. He has got some old tyres on one side and some fresh rubber on the other. It's a short-term gain. We'll see if... well, realistically, the tyre wear on those other tyres shouldn't be an issue. But we'll see if it goes green the whole way to the end, whether he starts slowing down quicker than the rest of them. But interesting.
The one thing he's just got to look out for is just on that restart. Just because there's going to be a bit of heat difference in those tyres. The inside tyres are going to heat up a bit quicker because they've gone through their cycle. Yeah, the right side tyres won't.
We saw that race one, a very, very interesting result. Jaden Russell, I think, was it, started on the...
Yeah, it was Jay Russ who sort of lost it, unfortunately. Norman, though, he's experienced. The nice way of putting it. He's well experienced.
I swear you didn't call him old.
The old man on the grid now is Foster. I mean, that boy is ancient now.
This will be interesting. So we've got this restart procedure happening again. I'm going to go to Chopper. Let's go to Chopper. And let's have a look. So Hamish has almost a full car length on Josh Mickelmore here. If Ed makes the podium, can you guys make sure to tell him that Norman has a white aerial number? He hates it. Okay, cool. I will let him know. RS14 in chat there. So we watch here. There's no games to play here with fuel. Everyone should be right. Tyres is the only concern. We've got this restart procedure, which we're going to see from above the cars at the moment. Are we going another lap, or have we just...
No, we're just getting to the pit lane now. So we're just going to get up to the Geico restart zone. So that's that short little zone in that little point to point there. You'll see the painted side on the inside of the track there with the Geico on it. So we're just getting up to it now. So the driver has to wait till they get into that point, and then they can absolutely go. So it takes away a lot of the strategy on the restart.
So right here.
And away they go. Gallagher waits right for that last moment, gets away nicely there. It really makes a difference for the restarts, and it should make everything a lot more spicy in the future.
Yes, it definitely will. It makes a bit more consistent, because I know people have been wanting it for a while, because especially there's some tracks where the pace car actually pulls away almost half a lap out. But you see Dyson here straight up getting inside Mickelmore. He's pushing his way up. Remember, Dyson started the front, his pole position. He has some speed in this car. He's got fresh rubber on, as they all do. He should have the pace to be able to get himself back up there. Someone who's always looking dangerous is Michael Skurlock behind Edward Foster there. He's just perfectly sitting himself in 6th place. He's started in 7th. He hasn't moved much. He's looking after everything. He's looking after the car. So he's good to go. Norman Clark did start okay. He's fine. He is getting down the inside of Noddy there as well. But no issues at the back there. As we go back to the front, Hamish has jumped out, as the leaders seem to do, get a bit of a jump out at the start. You can see there in the background, though, Muddy Hunter is pushing down the inside of Justin Witcher, continuing this battle that these two have had now for nearly 60-odd laps. They just seem to find themselves next to each other no matter what goes on. Back behind them, Stevie W is just sitting there watching what's going to unfold, and Matty Raymond, the biggest mover of the race so far, up 11 positions into 11th position, is ready to pick off a few more. But this is once again we're single file except for that group at the back. Wesley and co just want to race. They just want to have some action tonight, and they are getting it back there in the back of the field. We will see another caution at some stage tonight if this keeps up the way it's going, as we're going to go almost 3 wide here behind them into this corner. No, Tristan pulls out of that, and Norman Clark is already starting to go back in this pack. He's a good 0.3, 0.4 tenths off everyone with these not so fresh rubber. So it'll be interesting to see if he can hold on, and then everyone else comes back to him at some stage as well as we go back up the front. And Ryan Jones is in between Hamish and Andrew. Andrew and Hamish had a massive battle last round. Thank you to everyone who went over and checked it out on YouTube. It's our biggest watched broadcast so far, which is interesting because it's a road track. Belle Isle was extremely interesting result as not Hamish and Ed and Dyson. Josh Mickle was in between those two. Had an absolutely amazing battle there towards the end. Hamish just doing what he does best at the moment, leading the pack around. Buzzer, what have you enjoyed about tonight as we head into the 71st or 72nd lap?
What I'm surprised about, Wilco, is we've only had 2 cautions. From what I've seen in the past, which is very limited, I thought we would have had a few more cautions tonight. But as you said earlier, with the smaller field, I think everyone's been a bit tame tonight and just sort of getting to the end to have a real crack.
Yeah, as we see the second choice voice there getting past Josh Micklemore, and he's on the back of Andrew Dyson now, as Andrew Dyson looks at Ryan Jones's Skittles, and he thinks this is going to be a yummy little feast as he gets ready to take him in the inside in a couple corners time. But this front pack is doing a great job. Michael Skurlock.
Oh, we've got an incident. No, Tompkins and Wesley Closely just losing it out of turn 4. They just managed to save it, but this has given Luke Georgeson a bit of a run on those two. Great save there by Noddy and by Closey as well. They did a really good job, but those rears just lost all grip on. They just lost all grip on the exit of the corner.
Quickly have a look at a replay while we've got not much happening up front. Keep an eye on it. I will go live if anything does happen.
So I watched the back of Noddy. You can see it steps out, and Closey also steps out with him as well. So they sort of follow each other. I think that Closey was expecting to have to avoid an incident, so he's cranked the steering a little bit harder. Noddy's managed to save it, and then Closey's managed to save it, and then Luke's just gone, well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to take these spots.
If I say monkey see, monkey do, is that going to offend anyone? I hope it doesn't, because I think that's a perfect analogy for what happened just then. But yeah, you are driving so much on the limit, especially around these corners. You need to be pushing those tyres, those grips as much again. So any kind of little thing that jumps out at you, any slight movement in the steering wheel at that point can really unsettle the car, as you saw just there. Dyson's not as much on the back of Jones as he was a couple laps ago. They're pretty much running around the same speed at the moment on track. However, Edward Foster's going half a tenth quicker at the moment, so he's really pulling that group up on the back of Dyson and letting Hamish and Jones just step out a little bit from the front of the pack here. I didn't expect so much movement in the field tonight. It's nice open super speed, not a super, nice open track, you know, the cookie cutter style.
Where super speedway. It used to be a super speedway. It used to be. It's still classified as a super speedway. Okay. Back in the days, this was a super speedway.
Not anymore.
Things have changed a little bit.
But yeah, I was expecting a lot more of cars sitting in position and not being able to get huge movements happening. But you can see here, like now Dyson's right back up on the back of Jones with Edward Foster pushing him along. And Abigail picks up Jones is a little bit taily at the moment, so maybe he's just put a little bit of heat into those rears. He's not taking the same line there as Hamish, is he? Hamish is getting down there nice and low and then getting out nice and high. Jones seems to be just staying up that half a car length higher. So whether that's having any effect on it, you see there, he's about half a car length out from, he's off that yellow line, sort of almost late apexing the second part of the corner. As Dyson gets very close to the wall there. Something you don't really want to do. You don't want to lose momentum on this track. You will go back a little bit, but holds it and he's fine. He's coming out.
Well, one of the things that you do get though on the walls is that little bit of a pillow of air, so you can you can run up towards it a little bit, and the way that the air will push you off a little bit. So as long as you're not going at it too much force, you can kind of just ride the wall a little bit, and it just saves you from having that crash. And I think that's what Dyson's doing at the moment, is he's just really pushing it to the limits, not getting too much turn in the corners, and just saving a little bit more time towards the end of the race. We've still got 33 laps remaining, of course, and Buzzer, I'm sure you know this one from road racing. I mean, fresh tyres towards the end of a stint is always an advantage.
Oh, absolutely, Carl. Yeah, the fresh tyres. It's if we get another caution here, as we see with Norman Clark falling way back down to the back of the field by only taking the 2 tyres in that last stop, that just goes to show how much the tyres play a part here. So if there's another caution here, everyone will want new rubber and try and push really hard. But as that strategy call from Clark just has not paid off, unfortunately, for him.
No, not yet. Just interesting too, I just want to notice Greg Spencer has dropped out of the race 3 laps ago. Bill Hickey is still in the pits at the moment from that, but has not left the server, so he's still going. Yeah, sorry, Carl.
I was just about to say, and remember, of course, there is a limited amount of tyres for the cars. There's 4 sets of tyres for the race, so the ones you start on, and then you get 3 sets throughout the race. So they've only got 1 set of tyres left for this race. So if we get another caution now, you could come in and get those fresh tyres and get towards the end, or you could risk it and maybe just keep them out, and just in case we get a late caution with 10-15 laps to go, get the fresh tyres then. So there could be a little bit of strategy involved in that as well.
Yeah, I love the limited tyres. I'd like to see 1 less set of tyres, but Ryan Jones. Wow, I caught that as well. Same time, he's definitely getting taily, isn't he? Let's have a look from the chopper and just have a look at him coming in and out of these corners. As I was mentioning before, I was from Dyson's view. You can see he just doesn't get down as early as Hamish does, and you can see the gap open up just from that little error. It only takes a little error. Dyson's really sizing him up here. He wants to make this move happen. I think you can see right there, Ryan Jones still even gets a little bit taily out of that exit as well. As he comes across the start-finish line, Dyson's going to stay low. I think there it is. Kicks out again there. Dyson's going to get a run on him. The next corner, he's going to eye off a possible move there. But Jones's tyres do not look happy right now, and we've still got 40, just under 40 laps, just under 30 laps to go. As Dyson takes it high there. Trying to come back down underneath him here into this corner. He cuts the track, almost takes the grass with him. Doing everything he can to get past Jones, but Jones is doing a great job to hold on, especially with this car not looking so solid right now.
One of the other things as well is there are a couple of nasty little bumps in the mid-corner here at Nashville, which can really catch you out. And look, in any kind of race car, it doesn't matter what you're racing in. When you hit a bump in the mid-corner, that back end will step out on you no matter what. And it is very tricky to save it, especially when you're doing over 250 kilometers per hour.
Interesting, again, Ruben Phelps has done the same thing as happened last stint. He's dropped almost 2 seconds off this pack. As Matty Hunter's still going around, with this time with Stevie Dubb, he's left Justin Wisher behind. Justin Wisher has just fallen off the pack there as he's gone back a little bit. But Matty Hunter is looking to get past Stevie Dubb here. But Ruben Phelps has really fallen off the front pack there, as you can see. His lap times are 13 compared to the guys in front by almost in the vicinity of 0.3 of a second. Matty Hunter, though, is the one who's not doing very fast laps at the moment. He's the only one in the 32s, bar 1 or 2 down the back of the pack there. So very interesting there. But Ruben Phelps is only getting further away from Michael Skurlock, unfortunately. But have a look on board from Michael Skurlock from the nose of his car. This group
Indeed.
ahead as he just slowly drifts off this pack as well. Michael Skurley might be struggling a little bit here too, but you can see how much they're all stepping around. Let's go forward to Josh Mickelmore. You can see how slightly different lines for almost every single car in this pack.
The tercentenary man, Mr. Michael Skurlock himself, is it's keeping on the back of this pack, so he's sort of holding on, but he's not able to really get the pace to get up to the front at the moment.
300 races. Let's talk about that for a second while the action is in the front of this pack here. What an effort it is to get 300 starts in ANZCAR. You're talking about a driver who, even if it's 3 starts a week, like that's 2 years solid of commitment to a series. So we know Skurley loves his racing. We know he loves his oval racing. We know he's got speed. I better actually show him while we're actually talking about him. But yeah, that's a huge effort to just commit to the ANZCAR series itself for such a long period of time. He's one of those guys who's always happy and always doing something silly in the chat and things like that. So we go back here. Sorry, Norman Clark and Brad are having a bit of a tussle here at the moment. But yeah, he's always the bright spark, I think, Carl, you would say, of the ANZCAR Discord and the track.
Yeah, big personality for sure. Just want to jump back to Norman Clark because he's starting to come back at the drivers now, with the tyres starting to fall off a little bit and starting to plateau a bit. Again, buzzing from your experience, tyres, they go through different stages and things like that. And it looks like with Norman Clark, his tyres have sort of got to that stage where they've sort of equaled out.
I've just got to come up front as Dyson takes Jones down the inside and Foster tries to take him down the inside. Sorry, go back, Carl.
No, that's okay. Good move there from Dyson. But I was just going to say, as the tyres start to plateau a little bit and you just get that sort of things equaling out, it looks like Norman Clark's starting to have that happen to him now because he's got pace back. So keep an eye out for him latterly in the race. But it is Gallagher very much got a decent lead at the moment, almost 0.8 of a second. So he has definitely pulled out a nice advantage. The thing he doesn't want to see is a caution flag.
Yeah, exactly. He's in an extremely good position right now. 20 laps to go. He was almost got a full second on the field, and he's got the boys behind him are all fighting. But Dyson has got free of Jones now, so it's going to be interesting to see. Dyson's doing around the same lap times as Gallagher at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if now he's past Jones, if Jones was just holding him up as we thought he might have been with that car that rears don't look the best. We'll see if Ed can really put this on as Billy Hickey's out of the pits after 7 minutes of repairs. So well done, Billy, for getting back out on the track after that incident. But you see, even still, Ryan Jones's car, he's looking like a complete handful at the moment. I think Ed is eyeing off this podium position and needs to get it made soon. We are technically starting to run out of laps, Buzzer.
Yeah, we're getting into the closing stage of this race here. And these guys sort of behind this battle pack from second through to sixth, they've kind of got to be wary that Hamish doesn't break too far away because the lap times are pretty similar between these guys. So they're not going to have a lot of time to sort of make that time back up.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. Dyson and Hamish can only be separated by thousandths of a second last lap. As Edward gets that done, but I think he's in trouble here. I think Josh is going to get both of these guys if they're not careful. No, he just ducks in behind. Jones wants his position back. He wants that podium. He wants to talk to me. I know he does. He loves talking to us up here in the booth. These guys are fighting, which only helps Dyson, which only helps Gallagher. I think all this really, you can see how much Dyson's now jumped away from this pack as this group fights, battling out for that last position on the podium. As you said, Carl, no one wants a caution here out of those front two. Actually, probably Dyson wouldn't mind it, but definitely Hamish wants to run this one out as he's very, very close now to a full second lead and extending it on Andrew Dyson at the moment. But this is where the battle is. Josh, Edward, the second choice voice, and Ryan Jones.
And just there. We just saw a little bit of a bump job, a little bit of a tap from Micklemore there. That is how you do it, how you do the bump and run. He's trying to get it to work on Jones. Jones beautifully held the car. Micklemore is really trying hard to get that pass done as well. Foster slid it up, and he just slid up a little bit too high, lost the momentum, and that gave Micklemore the opportunity to get the run on him. Oh, look at this by Josh Micklemore. He is absolutely going for it, and he's really putting the pressure on Ryan Jones.
What this is going to do is going to bring Skurlock back into action soon, but Skurlock's about second back, which is interesting. But Foster's got this done on Micklemore. Jones is loving this because now he's got the pressure taken off him. He's got, 0.3 of a second here, but 0.3 of a second is so long on these tracks when these guys are so closely packed. I think, look, Hamish has put it out to a second now, so we're not watching that right now. But Edward and Josh, don't do this. You got to give this podium to Ryan Jones here at this stage. His car looks an absolute handful. He's going to hold on to this podium if these guys keep this up. They've got to work together if either one of them wants to get onto this podium. After 99 laps of 112, we are 36 laps deep into these tyres. If you go by Norman Clark's, 2 of his tyres are almost 50 or 60 laps deep in. So, yeah, this is getting interesting. Edward now does close up on the back of Jones with 13 to go. I think we've got first and second sorted out, Carl. What are these? Or Buzzer? I want to go to Buzzer first. Which of these 3 gets the final spot of the podium if it goes green to the end?
Well, it's going to be quite the battle for the last 12 laps here because Edward Foster is looking pretty good on the back on Ryan Jones here, who has looked quite sideways on a few laps coming into here now. So, also Micklemore's race, I reckon, has been a pretty strong one so far. So we could end up with these guys going 3 wide for the across the line. They're so close together right now.
I want to take my eyes away from this because there's a really good battle going on between Nigel Patton, Matthew Hunter, and Ruben Phelps, and even Justin Witcher there for the top 10, the tail of the top 10. But this is the podium fight. These guys are doing an absolutely amazing job. There's contact, and Jones has somehow kept that. Let's go with Jones. He says he slides back through the field. He will not be happy about that. I have not got
he
comms.
definitely made contact with the wall there as well.
I want to quickly look at this. Let's go to Chopper again, and I think that was Ed was down the inside. We'll get back to live racing in a sec because we've only got 10 laps to go, but I just want to see this quickly. Ed's got a down the inside, and Ryan just comes down on him. Is that your call there, Carl?
Yeah, I'll go with that one. Interestingly, a little bit further back, Scully just had a big moment as well coming off the corner. He's actually lost the rear and he's gone across the grass. So he's done a little bit of a grass clipping as well. So he would have taken Jones, but he ended up losing a position to Mr. Stevie Dubb, who's now on an absolute charge. Speaking of drivers that have joined the 300 club in ANZCAR, Stevie Dubb is one of those drivers. He did it a fair few races ago, and he's about to get the move done on the 11. Round the outside, he's trying to go. As we've got the battle going on here, and Stevie Dubb is trying to get up into 5th position at the moment, and it looks like he is going to be able to make that one stick.
Yeah, so we had Trev in chat saying that 53 and 31 were saving tyres. They're using them up now. It's going to be an interesting battle for that final spot on the podium. I want to quickly go back and... No, that battle pack has broken up. Matty Hunter holding on to his top 10 spot in 9th position. As you said,
So I just want to jump back to 13th position, Norman Clark, who has just worked his way through the field. He's catching a little bit on which there's a lot of time to gain. He's not going to be able to do it in the laps, but he's worked his way from the back of the pack right up to that position. A really good job from Norman. The strategy might not have paid off quite as well as he'd hoped, but that was still a fairly decent run through the field there for him.
0.4 of a second a lap he's getting on Witcher, and he's 3 seconds back with 10 to go. It's on. I think he can do it as we go back up to Witcher, to Micklemore, who is holding off the podium spot from the second choice voice himself, Edward Foster. It's 0.6 of a second now. It's pretty much done and dusted, I think. Ed's last lap was slower than Mick or more, so I think that's the end of that. Unless there's a caution with 6 to go, I don't like your odds though. There's not many battle packs forming out on this track at the moment. It's gonna.
Watch out for Ruben Phelps and Maddie Ray at the moment. This is one to keep an eye on for, as Mr. Sheen is trying to keep it as clean as possible. Ruben Phelps throwing a big block job down on the corner, and this fight is going to be on for 10th position.
Just quickly keeping an eye on Norman Clark. He's already a second into that Witcher lead at the moment as well, just behind this pack. Which is a really good job. But see if Matty Raymond can get it done on Ruben Phelps, who had such a good start to the race and was up there for so long. I think his tyres are just not happy and as happy as some of the other cars around him at the moment after 44 laps on this stint. Will he get it done or not? I'm not sure, but Norman Clark sort of almost plateauing now a little bit though, so maybe Justin Witcher had a problem before. So let's go. We've got 5 to go in round 4 of the ANZCAR Thunder Series 2 from 2022, brought to you by Locked On Lads TV and the Australasian Supercar E-Series this week. Great place to race. Go check that out if you're free on a Sunday night and you own a couple of V8s and you like oval racing.
Oh, we got contact! We got contact between Matty Ray and Phelps. The caution is out.
We should have stayed there, Carl. You should have told me. I wanted to finish off with 5 laps to go. I wanted to call it in as they just get. Let's have a look at this once again from above, because I think this shows everything.
Yeah, so it looks like Phelps has just drifted up, unfortunately. Buzzer, what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, definitely. Phelps has just drifted right up, and Raymond's got nowhere to go.
I don't know. I'm looking at that a little bit differently there, because I think Ruben at this stage of the corner is not moving. So he's on that line, and then Matty comes down a little bit, if anything. Racing incident.
I feel like yeah, the racing incident. Room's got to be given from both sides, I feel.
There we go. Buzz has made the call. It's all happening here. We've got to race the line. Everyone's going to get fresh rubber. Or do you stay out, Carl? Do you stay out if you're at the back of the pack and hope for the best?
Leaders are in.
I reckon Norman Clark stays out.
I reckon we could see one person try it, and yeah, Norman could be that driver. I don't think he is.
No, he's going in.
But honestly, you know, if you're at the back of that pack, maybe just throw the dice. You're going to lose those positions
There's
anyway.
Nothing else that could go wrong, is there?
The only thing that could happen is you're going to wreck a whole field and and give somebody like Tristan Koch or Wesley Closely a win.
We have got everyone in. Everyone in. Let's have a look here and see who comes out first. Who's going to do it? Who's going to have the best
Jones
stop?
is taking 2 tyres. Edward Foster's taking 2 tyres.
Hamish. Oh, no. So they're the only 2 that do it, actually. Someone there in the back. Nigel Patton's
Closely's taking 2 tyres.
Wesley
Closely took 2 tyres. So it's only Closely, Jones and Foster. They took 2 tyres. So this is going to be an interesting one. And interestingly, because Jones and Foster are both at the front, that means that the 2 cars at the front of the pack are both at a disadvantage. So this is going to make things
What could go wrong?
interesting.
What could go wrong? I like it though. Rolling the dice. You're not going to win if you just do the same thing as every single other person. I've lost chat. Sorry, everyone. Have not been keeping up with it because it's all happening out there. Talk about a late caution. This makes it very interesting. Yes, I agree, Abigail. Ed doesn't seem to have anything for Josh now. No, he didn't, but now he does.
We are going to see a green-white checker, of course. Now, Buzzer, I mean, you're obviously new to ovals, so do you know what the green-white checker is?
Well, I assume we're going to go green, then we're white, and we're checkered flag. But it'll be a pretty exciting finish because we were looking for a pretty plateaued end to the race with Gallagher leading by so much. So it'll be interesting with him with 4 green tyres and the 2 in front with only 2 to see how hard he pushes to see if he can get that lead back.
You know who this really hurts? Andrew Dyson. He is
Yep.
back there on the inside line, 3 back from the start, behind both Hamish Gallagher and Edward Foster, with Nigel Patton on his outside, who has only got 2 fresh tyres. I would not like to be him right now, and considering he had second place on the grid, on the podium, wrapped up to now he's got a fight with 2 laps to go. I still think he can
Now,
get to the podium, but yeah, we'll see.
just quickly as well, remember that if there is a caution on that green flag lap, then that is at the end of the race. So that can be a big thing to play as well. So that's why track position can be key sometimes.
That's why if I was Norman Clark or Tristan or even Noddy, I would have made the call. Noddy got his podium the other week from doing that. Stayed out.
Exactly. I was going to say, you know, if you were Noddy, then you would have had a podium already, Wilco.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not. I'm not even that good. So. Ah.
Oh dear. It's been too long. All the vials built up in my bloodstream. I need to get it out.
I may end up just kicking Carl from Discord at the end of the before this is out. Anyway, we'll see. Look, it's
just quickly as well, just for all new viewers as well. If they get past and the white flag flies and there's a wreck after that, then it does go to the green flag. So if there is a wreck after the white, then remember that there is no caution, so they still go to the end. So if they make it to that white flag, then it goes to the checkered flag. If the yellow comes out before that white flag, then the race is over. So that is the green white checker.
Oh, this is all going to happen. You wanted action-packed ANZCAR Thunder on a Wednesday night? You got it. We are good to go. This is 2 cars on the front. Only have 2 fresh tyres. Everyone behind, except for Nigel Patton. Look how close these guys are. They know what is up for grabs here. Look for a big move from Dyson down the inside by the end of the first lap. Hamish will want to get past Ed as quick as he can and get away. If he skips away, that's probably the end of him, I think. Josh is also someone who's had a podium sorted out as they jump. Ed does a great jump. Ryan Jones, unfortunately, doesn't. Hamish gets straight down the inside. This is ready to go. Ryan Jones gets down and blocks Dyson, but then gets up into Josh, and that's going to slow Josh's run down. But up the front there, you've got Ed holding it back. There it is, Tristan. That's going to be it.
We get the yellow flag.
Tristan stayed straight in all that. I need to go back and have a look at that. That's a great job from Tristan. Edward Foster needs to, whoever wins this race, if they beat Edward, needs to go buy Tristan a drink before this night's out. Hamish.
And Gallagher's going down the inside, and Foster's blocking as much as he can. They're 3-4 wide in the background.
Wall.
Up in the wall goes one of the cars, the Pinnacle Esports cars.
Nigel Patton's dropped way back down the field because he was the one on 2 old tyres.
Here comes Gallagher.
Here we go. We're getting ready to go. Hamish has got the lead. Dyson's not going to be close enough. Edward can't do it either. Hamish has got this. They're all going to go as low as they can. But Hamish gets it. And that was Dyson just into third. Edward, the second choice voice, has got second. Again, how fitting. What a finish there. I need to go back and look at Tristan. Give me 30 seconds back on Tristan. Give me 40 seconds back on Tristan. As we try.
He's actually got contact with Maddie Ray, so very lucky not to get a caution come out there. So he's gone into Maddie Ray. One car, I'll tell you what to watch that one from is Luke Georgeson. Yep. Jump on board Luke Georgeson and watch from his car for this one, because that is going to be one heck of a view.
Luke Georgeson in the gyro. Let's go. I'm surprised it didn't, he was in the infield, I guess. Wow. At this stage, he is 100% sideways and out of control, but luckily in the infield. Theoretically, I guess as well, are they on pitch? Maybe the leaders are just crossed the line if we go to Hamish.
Nope. There was a fair bit of time. It's just because of where he was, didn't bring out the caution because it wasn't on the track. So good thinking by Tristan to get back up to speed. He didn't get back on the racetrack. He kept on the infield until he got up to a certain speed. Yep. So he didn't bring out the caution. So
very good effort. Now I want to look at Nigel Patton just about now because that's when he started going backwards. I thought
Just quickly buzz out that finish. Heart in mouth moment.
Oh, absolutely. It was right down to the wire there, all the way through to Andrew Dyson having a look up at Edward Foster across the line. Like, it was very impressive for Edward to hold on there. That was very good. And Hamish deserved that win. He led that whole stint after the caution before and was pushing to have that win, was way out in front, and to get that position back was pretty good.
I can't believe the run Dyson's got, to be honest. He has used every trick in the book. Although that's the finish line there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the finish line there? No.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, it is. So he wasn't as close as I thought. It was a little bit further. I was looking at.
He tried his best. It just could not get it there in the end.
Yeah.
Just on Norman Clark watch, managed to get up to 7th in the end. So
Wow.
his race went pretty well at the end of that one.
Let's go through the results since I've got them here and they're working. Yeah, very good job from Norman Clark there. Only 1 point.
Also from Stephen Williams there, from 12th to 5th.
Yes.
He was a sort of a silent mover through there.
Definitely was. So let's go. So Hamish Gallagher takes it out. Round 4 of the ANZCAR Thunder Series, brought to you by the Australasian Supercar E-Series. Second on the grid, the second choice voice, Edward Foster himself, 0.1 of a second back. Andrew Dyson, 0.2 seconds off Hamish at third. Josh Mickelmore fourth after having a podium in the bag with only a couple laps to go. Stevie Dubb all the way up to 5th. Well done. Ryan Jones, unfortunately, finishing 6th tonight. Norman Clark, some interesting strategy, and it paid off at the end. 7th on the race. 8th for Ruben Phelps. Kobe Jordan 9th. Matty Hunter 10th with that little incident that he had right at the end there with Nigel Patton. Let's go over the page. Michael Skurlock, 300th race, ends up 11th, unfortunately. Brad Fenley did a pretty good job, actually, of getting up to 12th. Nigel Patton, after that incident at the end there, after rolling the dice, saving 2 tyres for that last stop, 13th. Noddy Tompkins in 14th. Matthew Raymond up to 15th. Wesley Cosley in 16th. Justin Witcher, unfortunately, 17th. Tristan, the last car in the lead lap, 18th. Luke a lap down, just missing Tristan in that last little incident, 19th. And Billy Hickey, after such a good race, ending up 20th, 15 laps down. Tom Pritchard went out early, along with Greg Spencer in 22nd. Raymond Yeager, unfortunate that incident, 23rd, yep. And Tex, Adam, and Aiden did not take the race. Whew, what a finish to that race. So I need to work out. Carl, can I ask you to start dragging people around?
And indeed, I'll bring up our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Andrew Dyson.
Okay. Welcome to the booth again, Andrew Dyson. It's like we only talked to you a week ago. Congratulations on finishing 3rd tonight, mate.
Thanks, man. That was a pretty cool race.
I thought you could almost, you weren't gonna have any chance, of getting either of those two with that last in that last lap. How far behind you were. You had a very good run at it. What was your strategy to try and get them off the podium at the end there, or try and get that first place?
On the last lap, or starting the last lap, you mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of came into turn 1, and like I said, they're going side by side. So I knew I was always going to get a half decent run off the exit if they ran side by side the whole way. And then when we got to turn 3, I thought I'm probably just going to end up walked behind both of them anyway. So I tried to do something a bit different, but it didn't work out. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, it was still a pretty cool little race there, so it was good.
It was. You had second in the bag without that final caution. Unfortunately, the two came apart. We saw you go back and forth through the field during the race, especially early on in the race. You started pole and you dropped back a little bit. Was tyres a little bit of an issue there?
Oh, not really. It's just rolling along and just sussing out the field and, just seeing what was happening, who was taking what lines and whatever. It's surprising what you can learn by having folks around you, just sort of thing. So thought I'd do a bit of that, and I wasn't expecting there to be yellows either, but there was. So what do you do?
Yeah, the yellows came at some inopportune times, unfortunately. Did you think you had any chance of getting Hamish at the end there before the last caution?
Oh, not quite, man. I mean, maybe if I could get past Ryan earlier, but the barbecue master had me held up for a long time, so I couldn't really do a whole lot.
No, he definitely did. You definitely showed some pace once you got past him. Was there any thought to just doing the 2 tyres on that last stop?
Yeah, for sure. But I thought, if it's going to take a lot of people to take 2 tyres to end up in front of us, sort of thing, because
Yep.
we were obviously, whoever else it was, myself, Hamish, Josh, like we all went 4 tyres, and you'd be crazy not to because everybody else would have to come from far back to jump us. And yeah, usually not a lot of people do it. So I don't know. It's still a bit of a gamble, but yeah, it's. I think it was a safer one, so I went with that.
Yep. Now, we got the iRacing's new starting procedure tonight, or the starting zones. How did you find them?
It's pretty easy. I think it'll be really good, man. It's there's a lot of tracks where you can be the leader on a restart, and you're pretty much guaranteed, as long as you get it right, you're guaranteed a 0.3 to 0.5 gap by the time you get to turn 1, which isn't really super cool. But these start zones will take that away and keep the racing much tighter at the start of a run. Should be good.
Yeah, it seemed to be pretty good tonight. Anyway, let's move on to your championship. How are you feeling about it at the moment?
I don't think I've done too many races, so it's not really something I've got an eye on anyway. But I'll just roll up and have some fun each week, and as long as I don't run into anyone and ruin their championship, then I'm having a good time.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Thank you very much for your time tonight, and well done on the finishing third tonight at Nashville. Who do you want to thank, and who do you want to shout out?
Shout out to you, Blakes, for jumping in the broadcast again. Carl, welcome back. How you going, bud? Yeah, thanks to all the guys who put the series on. Bit of work goes into it, and just a little shout out to Simrix.com, South Elliston Hoist, Max Mechanical, MB Designs, and Phoenix Smokers for helping us get it done.
Well, thank you again, and congratulations. And I'm sure if you keep on racing, you will talk to you again very, very soon, mate. Well done, and have a good night.
All right, thanks, guys. See you soon.
Okie dokie, so we'll drag up the second place finisher for Ansari, Mr. Edward Foster.
The second choice voice himself. He's got second tonight. Congratulations, mate, on a hard-fought second yet again.
Yeah, mate. Seems to be my traditional position in these races, 2 from 2 P2. So, yeah, at least I'm consistent.
You are very consistent.
At least I'm consistent.
Yeah, look, we talked about it all night, that you're the second choice voice, and you are now second place, and we saw you behind Dyson a lot tonight, and I thought you were getting shakes or something from last week, although he was behind you all last week. How'd you find the race overall at Nashville tonight?
Well, I spent so much time behind him. When I blink now, I can sort of see like Phoenix Smokers just across it, like inside my eyelids. But no, I did spend a lot of time up behind like him and a whole bunch of other guys. I think I spent most of the night with my face full of somebody else's tailgate. So, yeah, I mean, it was all right. It was really hard to pass. There were sort of points where, he was saving in the beginning. I was saving a bit of fuel in the beginning too, which is why I dropped back so far, because my fuel was showing around about 66 laps out of a tank, and the race was 112 laps long. So obviously you needed to, leave yourself a little bit of margin. So there were a lot of us that were saving. I think Skirley was doing a bit of saving as well. And then, of course, once that caution came out, it was kind of like, oh, okay, we can probably all go for it now. So everybody turned the wick up a little bit. Lap time started to get faster, and it was really cool because the way that this car sort of handles around here, you can drive it with both ends of the car. Like, you can drive it with the throttle, you can trim it with the wheel, and sort of drive it through the turn any way you want to, really. And it was really, really fun. But when you're up behind somebody like that and you've got like their entire tailgate taking up 90% of your view, it's really hard to sort of see where the wall is and stuff. So you're kind of sliding a little bit off the turn and counter steering into that, and you're not 100% sure where the wall is. So yeah, there are a couple of interesting moments there, but managed to keep it off the wall and rolled a bit of a risky dice at the end just to see if I could jag a win. I'm not doing this series full time, of course, so I thought I'd roll the dice and saw what happened. And in the end, Hamish was just that little bit too good. I was just missing a little bit of drive off the turn, but apart from that, we might have got it.
Yeah, there was about 5 points that I wanted to talk to you about, and you cleared up most of them just then. But it was fuel at the start that was concerning. That's what we noticed. You went back pretty quick, and then you made your way back. The battle with you, Jones, and Mickelmore. Take us through that one with about 20 to go.
Yeah, it was really cool. Obviously, Daiso got past Ryan. and we were all kind of like, I had a bit of a look, and I was sort of trying to run in a little bit high and then straight line the exit, and Ryan sort of realised what I was trying to do and started, just sort of taking my line away, which is, fairly normal. And that's, of course, has given Mickelmore the opportunity to slot down the inside there, and then he kind of led for a bit, and then, we were both kind of, it was actually a really, really cool battle. There were points where we were literally just sliding up the track in unison, only like an inch or two away from one another. So, yeah, that was really awesome. So, it's a bit of a shame it got broken up, really. But, it was kind of set to be one that was going to go all the way to the end.
Yeah, it was our focus until obviously you and Jones got a little bit too close to each other, and I think that gave Josh the podium elect in third place. But unfortunately, that last caution happened, and as we talked about, you rolled the dice. How was that starting with the two tyres?
Look, it was fine. Norman had actually tried running two tyres the stop before, so I had a little bit of info from him. He said, the tyres are good at first, and then they go away and they're absolutely awful, is what he said. And as soon as the caution came out, I'm like, how long are those tyres good for, did you say? He goes, about 2 or 3 laps. I'm like, bonus. All right, that's all I need. So, jumped in on the two tyres. And the car handled fine. I mean, it's always a little bit of an unknown, like when you take two tyres and you haven't practiced it at all, running off into that first turn, and you've got no idea how much grip you're going to have. So you're always a little bit tentative in there. But fortunately, Hamish and Ryan were side by side, so they kind of delayed each other a little bit, allowed me to get a bit of a gap. And look, if it had, like I say, I was just missing a little bit of drive off the turn because my inside tyres are about 80% quite warm. And of course, the ones on the outside were brand new, so I was getting more grip on the drive on the outside. It was trying to oversteer a little bit when I was coming off the turn. And a little bit more grip was all it would have taken. I would have been able to outdrive in there on the outside, then kind of chop down, take his line away into turns 3 and 4. But I didn't, it didn't, and he did. So, yeah, that's it.
That is it, for sure. Now, I've got a little message from someone in chat at the moment. Wants you to know that, talking about Norman Clark, he's got a white aerial number. He just thought you'd like to know that. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did notice that. Unfortunately, talking Norman through them, the technicalities of the way that these things work can sometimes be a little bit more time than it's worth.
Yeah, that's okay. Norman,
he will freely admit that he's not technologically great. So sometimes you just kind of go, all right, mate, you've got the right car, and you're not trying to jump in with a truck or something. So we'll just take that as a win.
That is a win. He had a really good race tonight, so thank you. Congratulate him when you have a chat to him later on, because we know you will. So he had a really good one tonight. But back to you. Who do you want to thank, mate, and who do you want to shout out?
Just shouts out to everybody for coming out tonight and just putting on a really good race. We only had 2 or 3 cautions, something like that. It was mainly green flag racing, and thanks to all the guys that I was racing really close and around, it was good the way everyone was kind of doing it. Shouts out to you guys. Great to see the K-Man back there in the box. I can see his little name sat there, so great to see him back. And AJD and Fully Floored, the team sponsors. And that's it, I guess.
So you don't want to thank Phoenix Smokers for? Did you always see them now or no?
Why not thank Phoenix Smokers, hey? Why not thank Phoenix? I reckon when I close my eyes tonight, I'm still going to have them burned on my retina. So, yeah, I think I might wake up in the morning and look at buying one, maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. Anyway, keep us informed, mate. Thank you again. We'll definitely talk to you again soon, and I'll probably have you in the booth again fairly soon anyway. Have a good one.
Yeah, no dramas at all, mate. Thanks.
That leaves us. What was that?
I was just going to say, finally, for Mitch Motorsport, we'll bring up Mr. Hamish Gallagher.
Congratulations yet again, Hamish Gallagher. Although we haven't really said it much this season. Take us through tonight.
Yeah, I don't know where to start, Wilco.
You started the race, and then you drove, and then you finished, and you won. Well done. That's it.
I guess pretty much. Yeah, I know, because it took about 40 minutes to get into the practice server because I accidentally selected all to download the update, so I had like 15 gig to go through. I was like, oh boy, that was a mistake. So I only did about 3 or 4 laps, so I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, everyone was going real slow at the start, guessing look after tyres or something, so I just thought I'd do that. And yeah, it just sort of paid off, I guess. I think I looked quite hard to pass, so I was quite lucky being up front. That definitely helped. It was a fun race.
It definitely looked like a fun race from us. It was only a small field tonight, so we got to keep an eye on the action all around the field. You seem to be always in it. You had the race won with 3 or 4 laps to go. How did you feel coming into that final restart, knowing Ed and Ryan Jones ahead of you had 2 bad tyres and 2 good tyres?
Yeah, I was happy because it could have been a lot worse. It could have been like Texas all over again. It could have been restarting 20th with, like half the field stayed out or something like that. Didn't work out too well last time. So I was pretty reluctant to put 4 tyres on it. Thought, I'm definitely going to get screwed. But yeah, unfortunately, Josh, he was going to take 2, but he took fuel as well. So he would have been restarting off pole. It would have been a battle between the both of us. But yeah, no, Edward was he was very, very good to me. He could have driven me a lot harder there, and we probably could have ended up wrecking both each other. But a lot of respect to Edward, how he raced me at the end there. So it was a good battle. I think if we hadn't had that other caution before that, I think it was really tight on fuel. So I think some people were trying to save, I wasn't. So I think it would have been a very different result anyway. So it's like, oh well, whatever happens. And this time it worked out for me.
It definitely did. It hasn't been the best start to the season for you, but what's it mean getting a win back on the board now?
Yeah, no, it's good. It was a fun race, and Jonesy's putting up a good fight in the championship, which is cool. Yeah, so it's a good result. Yeah, well, I don't want to waste too much of your time, Wilco. I'm sure you want to get to bed. I understand how things are going for you at the moment. It's a bit of a shame, and for Carl. Well, it's good to see Carl is doing what he can at the moment, which is really good.
Yeah, it's good to have him back. I've only been awake for 15 hours straight doing work. It's fine. It's all good. Yeah, look, congratulations, mate, on a very well-run race tonight. The restart zones, I just want to quickly touch on it. How did you find them tonight?
Yeah, no, it was interesting, because I obviously haven't tested or anything like that. I've heard a few people talking about it was a bit broken, so I was a bit worried how things are going to work out there. But yeah, no, I think it's cool. Now it gives the it's going to keep these restarts a lot closer together, and it's a bit hard to time them or whatever. Basically the restart zone used to be about half the front stretch, so now it's a tiny little area. So it's definitely going to make things a little bit more interesting. A good chance of a few more black flags though, because I'm not sure if you've tried it, probably not. But you get like a pit road speed limiter warning. So if you go a little bit too fast, you might get a black flag. So
okay.
And if the outside car jumps or is slightly ahead of the inside car when they go, that's a black flag as well. So you might see a few penalties in the next few weeks as people try to learn the ropes. So it's cool. Well, it's a cool addition to have. So
it was something I did notice. The car on the outside was usually half a car length back, just in case. So
that's what I did, just to make sure, because I didn't want to get a black flag right in a second. That would be pretty stupid.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty stupid, but it's something we wouldn't expect you to do at all, mate, I swear. Now, who do you want to thank and who do you want to shout out?
Just big thank you to yourself, Wilco, and to Carl, and for Dylan helping out tonight. Yep. So big thank you to guys. Appreciate life's tough for you all at the moment, so doing what you can, or really appreciate it. Big thank you to ANZCAR. Big thank you to our sponsors on the car tonight, just all the Mitch boys. And yeah, I'll leave it there.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm sure we will talk to you again soon, as always. And congratulations tonight. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Wilco.
Buzz, I just got to ask, Buzzer, how did you go for your first oval race commentating? How do you feel went?
Well, I felt definitely fish out of water, Carl, because this isn't my sort of go, the oval racing. But it was good to see some close racing, even though it was a small field. It was good to see that we had some close racing all throughout the race. But I reckon those cautions came at the right time for a viewer, I would have thought. Not so much for those guys leading at the end there, but to make things as interesting as we could for a finish. It was very good to see those cautions come out for that.
No, absolutely. It makes perfect timing for the entertainment. We couldn't have scripted it any better.
We always seem to find that in the Thunder Series and the Australasian Supercars E Series, both the ones that the Locked On Lads TV do, and both the sponsor and the series tonight. We seem to be getting extremely close finishes and extremely exciting finishes. I was happy if it finished with under green at the end there. I think the race had been run really well, and there was still some good battles happening at the back there. But to get that little bit of spice thrown in at the end really made it. Now, I've said I hope you get well again soon, and we're all thinking of you, Carl. But I get to say it in person tonight, and I hope you do get your stuff sorted out soon, and just not for our sake, but for you, for the pain and all that kind of stuff. But thank you for joining us tonight, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure, and really been fun.
Hopefully be able to get back for a couple more races, but yeah, it's a little bit tricky at the moment. Yeah, not the easiest thing to do at the moment. Just waiting for surgery at the moment. So it's until that happens, it's a little bit tricky. But thanks for having me back in the booth. It was nice to be back up here, and thank you so much, Buzzer, for joining us as well. It was a pleasure to have you in the booth.
No, thank you for jumping in, Carl. It was good to have you back.
Yeah, no, thank you, Buzzer. Congratulations on your first ever Locked On Lads TV commentary job. First commentary job ever. You did an amazing job. We will have you back again sometime soon. Maybe even when we get some road racing happening on the channel in some stage in the future.
Well, if we look at the calendar for the Thunder Series next week, it looks like we head to Road America.
Do we?
Yeah.
Indeed. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's we had Belle Isle last week, and then Road America next week. So hopefully we get some good racing out of there, because as we saw last week, they're not the easiest things to stop.
No, they're not, and they have to turn a different direction other than left, which is extremely weird as well. So I assume we will have the same characters at the front of the pack again next week. But look, let's wrap this thing up. I've been awake for way too long, and I need to go fall asleep very soon. As you know, Locked On Lads is going through a bit of a quiet patch at the moment. Quiet patch, we're only broadcasting twice a week, maybe even be racing once a week. But no podcast at the moment. But go check out the Locked On Lads Facebook page. Keep in touch with the content as it happens. There's not much pre-warning at the moment, but currently I'm driving a V8 again at the moment. So yeah, I will be hopefully trying the V8 Vets when I can on a Thursday night, so keep an eye out for that. The broadcast PC, I got an update on it yesterday. It actually died twice in testing before they sent it to me. But it is apparently going through testing now. I didn't get word today, but it's getting a photo shoot done on it. It should be sent out hopefully by next week. So we'll see how that goes. But lockedonlads.com/Discord is the place to come in. Thank you everyone who's been watching, is subscribing and liking and sharing. It means a lot to us, and it's been a great help. But so we've got nothing on this Sunday. It's a break for Australasian Supercars E-Series. So we'll be back next Wednesday night for ANZCAR Thunder. Same time, same place, but this time at Road Atlanta. Thank you, Buzzer. Thank you, Carl. And we'll catch you all in a week's time. See you then. Bye.